Hi everybody, this is Diane. It is time for me to show you the final Christmas journal for 2022 that's coming out of my Pretty Pink Cottage shop this year. So we're going through this, the 12 Days of Christmas Little Golden Book. I also want to let you know that I have some fabric flips left over, which I could save for next year and save myself a little work next year, but I am going to put them in my shop. So I have 5, I believe, fabric flips. This one is made with a vintage tablecloth right there. And 2 little clusters with the Nutcracker. So these could go in one journal, and this could go with them. And then I think these 3 would all look nice in one journal together with the pinks and the poinsettias. And, well, this doesn't have pink really, but I think it goes well with them anyway. So that's 5 fabric flips and 2 clusters, and I will try to get them in the shop the same time that I put the journal in the shop, which is, I will have it in the shop, I'm going to say, because it's a busy time for me, I don't know when I'll be home and stuff, when I'm not going to be busy. I'm going to just have this in the shop when the video is published. So, it is the 12 Days of Christmas Little Golden Book, and there are at least 2 versions of a Little Golden Book 12 Days of Christmas. And I used the other one a couple years ago, which was absolutely lovely. The book is lovely. But I really liked the illustrations in this one also. So I went with this one. Excuse me, this year. There was a Kmart sticker up here, so I covered it with this little collage. I just had this medallion that I made with my Big Shot. And I had this little cutout also, and it kind of mimics the leaves on the pear tree back there. So I added that. And I put a long sticker here, and then Dare to Dream. These are 2 stamps that I used. So that's just a little top cluster at the top of the book. And then I used this fabric on the spine, which is a variety of Christmas songs. Way in a Manger. We Wish You a Merry Christmas, Silent Night, and other songs there. And on the back, I covered up all the little Golden Book aspects on the inside and back covers. I just did a collage with some fabric, paper pieces, and then some little bits, a couple of vintage pieces. This came off a package that I got a long time ago. I thought that was fun to add. And then I made bead dangle, which I haven't done in a while, and it was fun. I don't mind mixing metals, so I have silver chain and silver jump rings, but this is kind of a brass color. And it is 3 chains with some pretty things dangling. There's a little Santa Claus that came off of an earring, a couple of bead dangles. This little star, which is vintage, and I've had it for a while, so it had a silver string tied on it, so I cut that off and just put a jump ring on it. And I really love this part. This was an earring also. All the little bells. Speaking of bells, there are 3 bells on the sides. You'll see them on the tabs. So let's go into the book. I use vintage gift wrap on the inside covers, and then this is a digital, this big book plate. So I did not use any digital pages, but there are a few digital embellishment pieces. But I used things I had, fabrics and scrapbook paper and things like that. So this is scrapbook paper. The papers came from, I think the ones with the white are from Paper Studio, and the other ones that, if I have any that have double-sided, yeah I do, They are DCWV, but I think I got them at Hobby Lobby also. This is part of a Christmas napkin. I put it on cardstock. And I tucked this gorgeous, gorgeous Christmas card inside. You can't really open it because of the way it's constructed. You can journal on the back. I added these pieces because it was damaged where it had been glued into a scrapbook. But it's so beautiful. I hate to give it away. There are some lovely greeting cards and postcards in here. There's some lace on the edge. And I just did some collaging of elements, a die cut piece and a digital that I had printed a couple years ago. I had a bunch of these tickets. So the book should be in order. This is a page that came, this is a letter that came with the 1958 Christmas seals. There's not much Christmassy look you can write on this side. But I just collaged here where you can journal here, and there's a vintage Christmas train stamp up there. But it looks Christmassy on the top part of that letter. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble speaking today. I will try to get it together. So this doesn't have like everything 12 days of Christmas like I've done in other journals. This one is just a variety of Christmas stuff, but it does have some 12 days of Christmas elements. So this is a page from a Christmas Carol book, and it happened to have 3 pages, but 4 sides of the papers that had images and words from the 12 Days of Christmas song. So this is the back that has Midnight Clear, and I just made a pocket here. And we did a Tag Tuesday last week. You saw it yesterday. With all of the tags that I made in that video are in this journal. So this is vintage gift wrap, and I made it look like a wrapped package. These are little die cuts that came with a wreath die. I mean, I made the die cuts, but the dies came with the wreath. And then I added this little gem to the center, and this is a vintage gift tag. You can write on the back. Another vintage gift tag right there. That's a vintage package seal, Christmas package, and then you have a wish list here you can write on. I did some fabric tabs in each of the signatures with a bulb pin and a little Christmas bell. I guess they do have, no, they don't jingle. It's just them jingling against the metal that I hear, but they're very lightweight. Some green ledger paper. There's a scrapbook paper with one of the fabric flips. There's a piece of handkerchief there. This was a fun pocket to make, and this was in one of my videos. I took a red printed subtraction facts card and turned it into a pocket for a Christmas journal with some ticking fabric and a little piece cut from a scrapbook paper. And then I tucked in a recipe for meringues. 1971, Betty Crocker. I think I will put a piece of paper in here too. Like, I'll take one of my scraps of paper, cardstock, and just cut it down a little edge around the corners or something. I'll tuck it there so I don't forget where I wanted it. That'll give you some more journaling space. There are some pages from a little songbook. The first half of the book had Christmas songs, and the second half, they weren't Christmas songs, so I covered those up, but this is the Christmas song side. And then here is the Partridge in a Pear Tree stationery piece that I just got at the estate sale that I went to a week or so ago. And inside it is a folio from the Jan Brett 12 Days of Christmas book. You can make a booklet out of it if you want to, like staple some pages or sew some pages in there, or cut it and use the elements to decorate your book. This is the side that did not have Christmas songs, so I collaged on it, and I added a envelope. It opens. And there's a tally card, a Santa Claus tally card inside. There's another tally card. I covered up the non-Christmas song with that scrapbook paper and added a tally card in that little tuck. This was the envelope that the Christmas seals came in, the 1958 Christmas seals. It was open at this end instead of on the long flap, so I went with it that way. I thought it was really cool. And I didn't want to cut this off because it had some fun decorations there. So I just folded it up. I thought about gluing it to make it a pocket, but I wanted you to be able to open up the whole envelope. And I just added that little piece there that you can tuck that flap up into. And inside is a card. I want to show you this side where you can see Santa Claus peeking through the window. And I added that little digital piece. And you can pull this card out. There's writing space here and a collage here with some fabric. It tore right here, so I added some washi tape. Here's one of the gorgeous cards. It's not a postcard, just a flat card that was given at Christmas time. It does have some red marks there. I don't know what they are. But isn't that beautiful? And I thought it was nice with the costumes that the children have on in this book. Here's one of the tags I made in the Tag Tuesday. Of course, I added a fabric ruffle. Here's the top of the Christmas seal letter, so you can see it looks Christmassy up here. But I wanted to add something you could write on, so I added this little piece of paper with lines and embellished it with a leftover embossed stamped image on fabric. Lots of room to write there. This is from a vintage, well, an antique St. Nicholas for Children magazine, which was a year-round subscription. It wasn't just a Christmas magazine. Not sure why it was called St. Nicholas, but I got a box full of them at a flea market, and this was one of the images. Santa Claus is listening down the chimney, and it says, "I wonder if those children are in bed yet." So this was from the December issue, of course. I didn't want to cover this up. It is so beautiful. Isn't it just the queerest thing that Santa is so shy? We can never catch him, no matter how we try. It isn't any use to watch, because my mama said that Santa Claus will only come when children are in bed. It's just beautiful. But it's a fragile page, so I reinforced it with some scrapbook paper scraps, and there was a little hole in the paper there, and I just put a gold star there, a vintage gold star. This is a piece of acetate with poinsettias and greenery, pine cones, and I cut this from a children's book and put some collaging or journaling papers on the back and added one of those tickets. But I put it in with this side showing because that shows the decoration on the acetate better. The second signature has a pocket made out of a vintage handkerchief and this beautiful Christmas card. So you can open it up and write on it if you want to. And this page came out of a book of children's poems and stories. So it is the first day of Christmas. It has all the words, but it doesn't have the music. But it has cute illustrations. It's a very sturdy page. And this is even sturdier because I collaged on the back with a few things because this was not Christmas related here. This is a typed page of Christmas recipes that were stapled together. You can see they were folded up. It's aged on the fold, so it's vintage. I added some plaid bias tape here and a stamp. This is another page from the Jan Brett book. And I do have some of these journaling cards and things that were cut from scrapbook papers. Here's the music page and another fabric tab with a bell. And another gift wrap tag. All of the pages of the original Golden Book are in the first and the last signatures. The second signature just has these extra pages. Here's an envelope that was for ordering fir trees, so I thought that was fun. And I put one of the cut apart cards from a scrapbook paper in there, and gave you a journaling spot. This is the handmade stationery that I used in the other journals, and I had one more sheet, so it's in here. And this was like the little piece that came with the package of stationery. I think they were selling them at craft shows or something, and it had printed here what was included in the set of stationery. So I covered that up with a journaling piece, but I didn't want these little pieces to go to waste. The red at the top and the thing at the bottom and the berries, they are thread. The rest of them are drawn with little markers, fine markers. There's a fabric flip. And I used a bingo card to make a tuck spot with a big fabric ruffle, little die cut piece. This one has a pocket here, and then I glued this on as a pocket at the bottom. So I tucked that in there and this down there. Again, a Jan Brett page in here. Love her artwork. I like how this page turned out. It was the back of this book page that did not have Christmas related stories on it. So I collaged pieces on it, wrapping paper and 2 pieces of scrapbook paper. This is a grid. You can write on that. And then I had these little die cut, fussy cuts from Digitals cut out, and I just added them, and I think it just all came together very nicely. Another page that I had to cover has a scrap of paper here and a doily, and then this list you can write on. The list was too long for this page, and I did not want to lose the little gingerbread boy, so I cut it and just glued it on top of that. Here's another tag that I made in Tag Tuesday. And a Jan Brett page turned into a little tuck spot. This is a half and half bottle cap, but it's not the typical kind you see with the thick chipboard. This was, I think it was maybe a waxed circle or just a treated circle. It's got some finish on it, and it would wrap down around the mouth of the bottle. And I thought because of the green, I would use that here. And this is one of the cut apart pieces from the scrapbook paper. I just folded it so you could write on this side. There's the other side of that fir tree envelope. I used a doily and a Jan Brett book page. Here's another Jan Brett book page. I sewed it to one of the fly leaves of that little book. Did a little collaging on the back. You can journal on that. Vintage gift wrap, a little scrap of dyed paper, and a list paper you can write on. Just did some stamping here. Here's the one piece of this handmade stationery that I had left. And again, it's got the bells and lots of space for writing. And these pieces, by the way, were from a flea market, so or an estate sale, but I think it was a flea market. So I don't know how old they are. This is one of the tickets that printed along with this. I wanted this piece because it was the book plate, but it printed with 3 different tickets, so I used one as a belly band. And the third signature has another napkin. It's the same design but different coloring. This one has the cream and this one has a red background. And this is a really beautiful Christmas card. It was sent by Ada. I love it. I hate giving those away, but I can't keep them all. And I like this collage here. I just had some scraps of graph paper and engineer's paper. You can see through it. So you can see the pattern behind it, which is quite lovely, but you can write on it. And then these are all digitals. There's a vintage milk bottle cap here, and it's red, so I thought that would work nicely in this book for skimmed milk. This little pocket has a vintage gift tag and a vintage photo of Grandma watching the little boy playing with his new Christmas toys. Another gift wrap tag. And another little bell. This one has a Quizmo card because it has a pretty green color, and a vintage gift tag with glitter on it, a piece of play money, and a thumbprint cookie recipe. Another Jan Brett book page in there. And again, I had to cover this page. So I used an old envelope with a vintage gift tag and a scrapbook piece tucked in there. And the last of those large tickets that printed, and there's a piece here that you can journal on. This was a fun little addition to a flap here. Quick fancies for the holidays. I did have to cut the bottom of it off, but you can open it up and you can glue things onto those pages if you want to. Embellished it there. And the last of the beautiful cards. It's not a postcard, just a flat card. But I love the ones with the little houses tucked over the veil. You can, these were pretty popular. These types of designs were popular, and I always love them. There's another embossed piece. And this came from the St. Nicholas for Children magazine also. This Kodak for your Christmas. If it isn't an Eastman, it isn't a Kodak. And I added some washi tape down here and a little Christmas postage stamp. Oh, there is a digital page. I didn't use it as a page. It was left over. I glued it down there to cover the other side of this book. So this book page is completely covered. So let's see what it was. Yep. It was, I don't know. I don't know what I covered up there. But I covered something. And another of the acetate pieces with another journaling card inside. I love that little deer. This is a long flip through. I'm taking my time with this one. And on the back, I had 2 pieces of wrapping paper and a scrap of paper for a pocket with a vintage gift tag. And I used one of the scrapbook postcards that I cut from the scrapbook paper, and another recipe card with fruitcake. You gotta have fruitcake. And then I had these that I didn't use. They're digital. I don't know where I got them. I've had this in my files for a long time. And I printed them, but I didn't use them. So I'm putting them in your pocket. It's the 12 Days of Christmas numbers, so you can scatter them throughout your journal as you use it. And I will be putting my signature on the back of this. So that's it. We have the 12 Days of Christmas junk journal in my shop, and then we have the fabric flips and clusters in my shop. Thank you so much for watching. This was a joy to make. It will have, where'd it go? I think you probably saw seam binding tied around it. Here it is. Fell on the floor when I started. So this will be wrapped around it. It's pretty good right now, but if you add stuff to it, it'll pop up more. It does have a 2.5-inch spine because I put too much stuff in it again. So I made the spine 2.5 inches, and I didn't tell you that the spine is one of those flexible folders. So it's squishable, but it has Tyvek fabric, so it's very secure. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed all of my Christmas journals this year. I'm looking forward to putting all my Christmas stuff away and getting started on something not Christmas. Thanks all for watching. Have a creative day today. Bye-bye.